Hello and welcome to my channel where we may be dazed, but we are not confused. We're going to be doing a new horizon read for the sign of Aquarius. We're going to take a look at where you stand currently, what you are leaving behind, your hopes and fears, and what's coming up on the horizon. So let's take a look at where you are currently. All right, Aquarius, I feel like you may have been feeling overwhelmed. You may currently just be feeling like you're in your head's kind of, way underwater. You may be feeling like you're not able to defend yourself against the actions of others or just in general. It may not be specifically other people, but it could just be lots of different things happening at once, coming at you from all angles. And you are just in a space where you're just taking shelter. You're kind of withdrawing yourself within, taking some time out, disconnecting. I feel like you might be spending some time out in nature, just to kind of ground yourself, letting go of a lot of burdens and extra stressful things that were causing you to feel as if you just weren't being seen or appreciated or really met where you are. I feel like you were asking for your needs to be met, but maybe that was not happening. So I feel like you're just feeling a little bit overwhelmed. And I feel like this might be surrounded by the energy of people that you were working with. So this could have been in a workplace. It could also be family or in your social circles. You're just not seeing eye to eye with some individuals, and because of that, you're in a space of kind of going into the hermit energy almost, by taking some time to yourself and just kind of removing yourself from this type of energy. So let's see what it is that happened in the past that has you currently in this energy of needing to disconnect from your social and workplace circles. All right, Aquarius. I feel like you may have been given an opportunity to walk onto this new path, and I feel like this might be something that happens a lot to you. But when you were given this opportunity, it's like it's this new thing, and you feel like you have to guard and protect it because it's like a source of abundance for you. It could be money that you're coming into, some type of gift or something that you were given, but then there's like a sense of betrayal. So it's like someone may have taken advantage of you and stabbed you in the back in such a way that you lost what it is that you had. We were talking earlier about how this could be in a workplace environment. So I feel like maybe you were given a promotion or given some type of increase in abundance. And it was a lot for you, and you felt like you had to protect it. Because maybe in other situations, like anytime you get something, it's this competitive dog eat dog situation, and then people come in and they take it, and then you're left with this sense of feeling betrayed, a deep sense of loss, and then you're having to heal from that to move forward and get ready for the next cycle, and going up to blows with people, being given something, working hard for it, and then having it taken away from you, and then having to start over. And I feel like this is something that you're tired of, and with this, you're just needing to disconnect from the cycle. I mean, I feel as if it's something that's like, it's like you just can't get out of it. It's like a constant loop. It's like you go through this promotion, receiving some type of abundance, feeling like you need to protect it out of fear that you're going to lose it, and then that actually manifesting in some major form of betrayal that you don't see coming. So even with you trying to guard and protect it, you don't see the way in which you end up losing it. It just totally catches you off guard. It blindsides you. And then each time this happens, it leaves you in an energy of feeling more and more like you need to withdraw to yourself. So I feel like that's why you're taking some time out to just kind of disconnect from the world and these kind of energies, so you can really process what's happened and what's been happening. All right, so let's see what your fears are as you're moving forward in this. All right, Aquarius. So with these cards, I just want to say that there's just a pattern I've seen in these readings I've been doing of the fears being heavily based on fears of success. So the very thing that people are wanting is the thing that they are afraid of at a very deep subconscious level. And with this, I feel like because you've been experiencing these losses and because it happened in such a way that was a betrayal, it's caused you to be afraid of showing ingenuity in your workplace, being courageous enough to share that, like sharing your light, shining your light, and allowing it yourself to be rewarded for that. Because when you do that and you show the level of skill that you have, you work together with others to try to make something out of this. It ends in some type of loss or some type of, the loss is not just a regular loss. Like, people lose their jobs all the time. They lose projects, they lose contracts, they lose positions. But I think that if it was done in a humane, respectful manner, it would be one thing. But because it blindsides you and it's in ways that you don't see coming, even when you feel like you have some type of stability, you feel like you've got your legs under you, this is definitely gonna, ride out, and this is gonna be for the long term. It's a sneak type thing where you just don't see it coming. And I think it's got you afraid that you're being punished for sharing your light. You're being punished for showing creativity and having ingenuity and being courageous enough to try to build something with that. Because when you get the reward of the abundance, you're getting a return for it, but it's just you're losing it in such a dramatic fashion. And this has you afraid to share this. And I feel like you might even be withdrawing to yourself and saying, this might be why you're getting that hermit energy. It's like you are trying to remove yourself from any chance that this could happen again. And I just would caution you just to kind of be on the lookout for, maybe sliding into a bit of depression with this. But let's take a look at some of your hopes moving forward. All right, so with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, I feel like your hope is that this is just kind of just a misfortune that's occurring because you are not being connected with people who are going to collaborate with you in such a way that's going to be fruitful. Because if you're in situations where you can be betrayed at such a level and lose what it is that you've contributed, then it's possibly not a very healthy environment. So I feel like you're hoping to have an employment change, because the employment change card did come out. So I feel like that's the confirmation that this isn't a workplace, and you're hoping that you can do this as soon as possible. I feel like you're trying to take the steps right now, maybe sending out resumes. And I think moving forward, you're trying to let go of the fear that this is going to keep happening, because I think you're making a connection spiritually that not having forgiveness for the mistreatment and betrayal that you've experienced, because it's definitely wrong-hearted in that, but I feel like you want to be able to forgive that so that you don't bring an expectation of that into new environments. Because if you feel like you have to be on edge and guard whatever it is that you're having, I think you might be recognizing that it might actually be attracting more of the same type of situation to unfold subconsciously. So I think that by trying to forgive this situation, you want to unblock your own energy so that you can make conscious connections with others, still exercising discernment, but not blocking people who actually could work with you and do well with you from working with you. Because I'm also picking up that you may have, in the past where this cycle kept repeating, you may have been, out of fear, actually attracting people in who were going to do the same thing, because you weren't comfortable with the people who would actually be a conscious connection. Like, they would actually pour into what you're pouring into and help manifest what you were trying to manifest. I feel like you would push those people away and you would not trust them because it felt foreign to you. and you registered that as a warning signal that you should not work with these individuals or you should not collaborate with them. But the people who genuinely were going to stab you in the back and were actively betraying you and setting you up for this okie doke that you kept experiencing were the people that you were comfortable with. And they were not triggering you because they felt there was no alarm, because you're so used to it that there was nothing to within your wiring to set you off. And I think that's because you've gotten used to this toxicity of, being in these betraying situations. So when somebody genuinely does want to work, that's odd to you. It's like, well, why would this person want to do right? Why would this person want to do that? And so that's when you start to, cut those situations off and guard against those individuals that can genuinely help. So I feel like you're recognizing that at some level, and your hope is that you're able to kind of shift that frame of thinking around so that you can let go of that cycle of experience. All right, because I feel like you're tired of losing stuff. So let's take a look at what's coming up on the horizon for you. All right, so I feel like the power of this fear that you have is going to start to dissipate. Like, you're going to clear out this energy because it's such a burden for you. And you just want to let that go. And in doing so, it's going to allow you to expand your horizons, encounter people who are aligned with your highest good and what it is that you want to create that will bring, beauty and hope and joy into your life. And I feel like it's going to open you up also to be around all types of personalities. I feel like like I said before, you might have been blocking out certain people who ironically were not exhibiting those little toxic mindsets, or they didn't have those little narcissistic fleas that, believe it or not, we can pick up sometimes. And if you've been in the habit of experiencing a lot of betrayal or some type of emotional psychological abuse, you tend to look for people who are going to mirror that because it's comfortable. And so I feel like right now you're in a space of recognizing that and trying to release the energy behind the resentment of it so that you don't block off people who genuinely are trying to help. And the reason you'll be able to do that is because you're going to be more open to entertaining different personality types and then properly discerning what it is that they're actually doing and seeing it from the perspective of experience and not just a trigger of, well, this makes me feel this, so that you can't actually see what's happening. Because I feel like you may not have been able to see that maybe projects or things that you were working on were basically being robbed from you or sabotaged right in front of your eyes. It wasn't until you had lost everything that you really stopped to look at it, because with this Ten of Swords energy, you can't do anything. You're pinned to the ground, stabbed in the back so much. I mean, that's a lot of swords in the back. It's one thing to stab somebody in the back, one time, but like 10 times, like to the point that you are out of space to stab this person in the back. This is basically like repetitive betrayals that ended up in this huge culmination of like this conglomeration of all these different betrayals. And that's when you saw it. That's when it got your attention. So I feel like you are moving into on this new horizon and energy of being able to see these things as they're in the process of taking place, or as you get that little inkling that that's what's going to happen, and kind of nipping it in the bud, and then allowing yourself to be uncomfortable with being around people who wish you well. People who genuinely wish you well, because it might make you feel uncomfortable, but you're going to really focus on trying to be okay with that discomfort and asking yourself why, it makes you uncomfortable, talking yourself through it so that you can stand in that energy and really pull in and have a chance to encounter, this heaven sent experience that you want to have, which is just aligning with what your soul wants, being able to manifest the abundance you want and keep it. All right, being able to exercise your ingenuity, show your light, and be celebrated. and have people who want to support that because it helps them shine their light. It's not them stealing your light and just running with it and leaving you with a little bit less of something. I don't think you can ever totally take someone's life, but or I said life, but light, it could be that too. But I feel as if it's more about you being supported by people who are also deeply rooted in shining their light, allowing their light to shine, and not being afraid to be creative, not being afraid to share that, not being afraid to build that into something. And then that collaboration coming together to where it's building each other up. The more yours is built up, the more theirs is built up too. And it's just a play off of it, as opposed to a draining or, a zapping of that kind of energy. All right. So that's what I have for you, Aquarius. I hope that was helpful. Thank you for joining me on this channel where we may be dazed, but we are not confused. Until the next video, bye bye.